Hi guys, Random here. Bit of a break from the norm today. I'm going to have a chat with you. Now, first off, I tend to keep work and play very, very separate. Okay? I don't talk about what I do at work on YouTube, and I don't talk about YouTube at work. Today that changes. I'm going to tell you what I do for a living. In fairly general terms, you don't know who it is I work for, but I'm going to kind of expand on what I do. I work for a company that is responsible for national infrastructure. And basically that means we do a lot of engineering work. We do building and we do maintenance. Okay, now when I say we do building, the schemes that we do run into hundreds of millions of pounds each. Okay, these are not cheap. Therefore, they tend to try and make sure you know what you're doing. Because, handing somebody £500 million and saying, go build this, and them going, oh, it's my first day on the job, I don't really know what I'm doing. Yeah, it doesn't really build confidence, does it? So you get trained up quite well, and they make sure that you know your onions, so to speak. Okay. I'm a fully qualified project manager. That means that I know how a project works. Doesn't mean I'm good at it, it just means I know how it works. Okay? I'm not trying to say I'm brilliant here. I'm just explaining what I do. Now, projects, it doesn't really matter, okay, where you go. Could be an HR project, it could be an IT project, it could be an engineering project, it could be anything. Okay. They all work in a very similar way. Now, the reason a project comes to be is because somebody goes, I've seen a problem and this needs fixing, or this needs changing. That's when a project comes to life. A project is something which is transitory in nature. It only exists for the time that the delivery of whatever it is required. When you've delivered it, that HR, that IT, that engineering project, once it's done, the project team moves on to something else and they go on to another project. So they don't last forever, okay? They go from the this needs fixing to here you go, there's what you asked for phase. Right. In between that, there's a number of things that you do. Now, the this needs fixing phase is where you generate what you call your requirements. Now, your requirements are the things that the person who has identified the problem will say needs doing. Now, you work with them and you develop a client scheme requirement or customer requirement. You can call it what you like, but it's the requirements. So I think somebody in Wargaming went, this RTS thing everyone's moaning about that's got bugs in it and stuff, and people don't like it because it isn't like the same as the rest of the game, and well, we got to do something about it. Imagine that in a Russian accent, okay? So they went, okay, then what do you want to do? And they said, right, well, we need to make it fun. Okay, yeah, it's a game, it needs to be fun. Tick. We need to fix the problems that exist. Right, okay. We need to do something about the interface, because this RTS thing doesn't match into the game, so we need to do something about that and try and make whatever we do actually resemble the rest of the game. Yep, right, fine. And of course it's got to be good for the players, the players have got to like it, and then it's got to attract new players. So yeah, so there's your list. So right, now then, is there anything you don't want it to do? Well, we don't want it to be, something that divides the community. We'd like them to feed into the process if possible, right? Okay. So we don't want them to be divided by it, right? And we don't want it, to just replace one problem with another, really. So can we make sure that it's okay before it gets rolled out? Okay. Right. So we've got our list of desired benefits, fun players, fix and interface. We've got our list of we call them must-haves, would like to haves, could haves, must not haves, and definitely must not haves. Okay, so we'll put them into those categories. Benefits and disbenefits. All right. So we've got to avoid the disbenefits here of problems, being replaced by other problems, and we don't want to divide the community with this. We might upset a few people with change. Not everyone likes change, so we get that. Right. So they went off into their little teams and scratched their little heads and went, what can we do? And they went, right, well, we've got to get rid of this RTS thing. Right, so what can we replace it with? And they probably had maybe 2, maybe 3 teams of people scratching their heads and coming up with ideas. And eventually they've gone back to the boss, and they've gone, oi, boss, what do you think of this? And probably given them a couple of choices, maybe 3. And they pointed at this one and they've gone, that's the one we're going with. Now at that point, okay, you've gone through your options and your option selection stage, and now you're into development. Now it doesn't matter what project you do, HR, IT, engineering, they're all very similar. So they've gone off into the design and they've developed a, World of Warplanes-esque approach to it, which, to be fair, I didn't like at first, but I'm kind of getting used to the idea now, so I don't throw up in my mouth every time I look at it now. It's not maybe where I would have gone with it, but it's what they chose. So that's what it is now. Right, fine. And they had a little bit of a pre-alpha test with the community contributors up on their community contributor day. They showed them it, and they were all like, "Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, different." Right. Some of them were a bit, but most of them were fairly. I'm going to be careful here because they were there and they were probably drinking the Kool-Aid, as they say, with wargaming, going, yeah, it's so much better because of this and this and this and this. So they probably bought into it a little easier than they would have done if wargaming had just gone, download it at home, see what you think. Alright. So, yeah, probably a bit of sales technique gone in there as well. But the community contributors were, fairly positive in all the ones that I saw. And although they couldn't show the gameplay, they kind of went round the outside of the subject, if you like, and just said, look, you'll like it, wait and see what it is. Then it moved on to user acceptance testing. Okay, now this is something you get especially in IT projects, where you come up with the idea and then you get a select bunch of users that you can pick and choose from the people that apply, and you can look at what use cases and what scenarios they might use the particular application or program in. Okay, and then you can make sure that it's being used for the correct purpose. So they went through and they got their their alpha testers, if you like, who had a go, and a lot of the feedback that I saw was pretty negative. It was like, this is so broken, you need to fix the following 500 things. You know, don't mind the planes flying around bit. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, the following is terrible. And they developed that into a beta where you could go and play it on the public test server. There were 3 rounds that I know of. There may have been 4, maybe even 5, but there were 3 that I know of that I actually participated in. And the general feedback from that was, look, it's really, really broken. You know, AA is terrible. Why is my AA cruiser not shooting down any planes? How come this plane can just fly around over my head forever? Then you had the carriers were like, what's going on? You know, why can't I get my fighters here? What's happening with this? My planes get shot down really easily, or I don't lose any planes at all. This isn't right. And then, you know, there were some real issues. And they fed that back on each round. So what did Wargaming do? Well, Wargaming's a fairly established company. They've been around a while. You know, this isn't their first rodeo. And I would have liked to have thought that they would have taken all of that feedback and gone, okay, there's still work to do here. We still need to polish this. Let's not make any rollout announcements just yet. But what did they do? They actually put a patch number to this, and they said it's going to be rolled out in patch 0.8.0, right, yay, right. And they have a patch cycle. So they tied themselves to a date. Now, there are 3 main imperatives to any project: time, cost, and quality. Okay. Now, if you nail one to the wall, the other 2 will suffer. Or one of the other 2 will suffer, if not both. Now, what they did here was they nailed their time aspect to a wall, and they said that is the date. So cost and quality are now in jeopardy. What do? Do you throw more people at it where it will cost more to attain the quality, or if you've already got everyone you can working at working all the hours they can, then the quality will be what suffers. Now, they reneged on that date. They said, no, this particular date is not workable, so we're going to roll the patch back a week. You know, we've still got lots of work to do with this, and we're going to take an extra week. And do you know what? I actually applaud them for that. Well done. It was the right decision. It really was. If it wasn't ready, I mean, let's face it, they had an extra week and it's still broken as hell. So you can imagine what it was like a week previous, can't you? It must have been terrible. So, hats off to them for saying, no, it isn't ready, we're going to take that extra week. Yet 7 days later, what do we get? Well, if we're being completely fair, probably something that's better than it was the week before. So, yeah, that's a thing. But we've got AA cruisers that just don't shoot planes down. There were 3 of us in 3 AA spec Clevelands with AA spec captains, and between the 3 of us, sitting in B in the middle of the map, being harassed by 2 carriers, we shot down a total of 11 planes. Yeah. In AA spec Clevelands. You know, the ship that the day previous would have just chewed up probably, between the 3 of us, probably 70 or 80 planes. If they'd have been stupid enough to keep flying over the top of us, then we'd have kept shooting them down. So there's definitely a problem with the AA. You have this utterly ridiculous AA sector thing. I mean, let me just put this into context, okay? CVs. We want to make CVs easier to play. Great. Okay. So how are we going to do that? Right. We're going to do it by making it a real kind of point and shoot type. You know, WASD, fly around. Yeah. Right. Okay. How's that going to affect the other ships? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to make it even harder for them to actually shoot down the planes. You know, the planes that keep regenerating and you have an endless supply of, and don't just do one attack wave but can do 4 or 5 depending on the size of the squadron. Yeah, we're going to make it harder for them to shoot them down. I'm sorry, who was passing the crack pipe around the office on that particular day? Who thought that was a good idea? You've just made it harder for every ship in the game that isn't... Well, in fact, even the carriers, with this stupid AA sector thing. What were you thinking? You're going to make flying a plane so easy a drunk 2-year-old could do it, and yet sailing a destroyer is now prohibitively difficult because of what you've introduced. This makes no sense to me. This really doesn't. So let's go back over that list again, shall we? That we went over at the beginning. Is it fun? Is it fun to be in a CV that you have no control over your damage No, not really. Is it fun to be in a destroyer that's permanently spotted and just repeatedly attacked over and over and over and gives you the choice of either don't go forward and do the job that destroyers should be doing, i.e. spotting, screening the fleet, capping, at the expense of being perma-spotted and shot at by every other enemy ship in the game, hiding in smoke, which you're not doing any spotting. Okay, you might creep up to a cap, but you're going to get shot at and aircraft attack you all the way there. Then you hide in smoke, and then you have to run away. Okay, or you just don't go forward. Yeah, they're your choices. Battleships, yeah, well, the AA is broken as hell, so, you know, you can have your top spec American ships with loads of AA and they won't shoot anything down. You could have a, you know, terrible AA on, I don't know, Bismarck or something like that, which, yeah, it's not terrible, it's alright, but it's not American AA. You could have something like that which will just decimate a squadron. It makes no sense whatsoever. So that's not particularly fun. You just keep getting repeatedly attacked by the planes and can't shoot them down. So no, destroyers and battleships are out. CVs, yeah, like I say, not particularly great. And cruisers, yeah, cruisers, right. Well, the AA cruisers, yeah. AA, yeah. Don't even. It's just, yeah, broken as hell. You don't really do anywhere near the damage you should be doing, and if you get a decent CV captain who notices which sector your AA is concentrated on, he'll just swap round to the other one. He'll come at you from the front or from behind, and when he sees where the flak is, he'll just go the other way. So no, not particularly fun in them either. So did we meet the first criteria? The first requirement, fun. No. No, we didn't. Did we fix the problems? Okay, we got rid of the RTS. And all the associated problems with that. That's fine. So do you know what? Yes, you did fix those problems. But did you do it without introducing other problems? Do you remember the 2 must not haves? Yeah. Did you do it without introducing other problems? No, you didn't. No, you definitely didn't, Wargaming. Poor job. Poor job. Do you think it's going to keep loads of players in the game and get more people back playing the game. This is another one of the must-haves. Do I think it's got... do you know what? I think for the first few days you're going to see a little bit of a peak because people will come and try it. Today's Friday. Over the weekend there's probably going to be a big bump in player numbers where people have a go. And they'll work out for themselves whether or not they enjoy it. So I'm going to predict that you'll be lucky to see 7,000 players on during the week and maybe 10,000 at the weekend come next week. It may even go lower than that. So no, I don't think you've achieved that particular aim there either. Is it going to divide the player base? Do you remember the mustn't haves? Yeah. Is it going to divide the player base? It already has. So you've already failed that one. And have you changed the interface to something that isn't RTS? Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I'll give you that one. You did. And although I was a bit sick in my mouth every time I looked at it initially, I'm getting used to it now, to be fair. Still not a fan of it. I'm not going to say I like it, because I don't. But I don't get angry when I see it anymore. I just think, no, I don't particularly want to play that. I'll play ships instead. So, at the end of a project, what happens is, well, at least for us, is we have a post-project review, which is where you look at what the scope was, you know, this list of requirements, and what you were being asked to deliver, and then you look at what was delivered, and did it solve the problem, and you evaluate how well the project has gone. So let's do one of these post-project review, evaluation things for the CV rework, shall we? Okay, was it fun? No. You going to retain players? No, not at the moment. Did you fix the RTS problems? Yes. And did you introduce a new interface? Yes, you did. Right, okay. So you've got a 50% score on your requirements there, okay? So you got it half right. Did you do it without creating any more problems? No. And did you do it without dividing the player base? No. So that's 100% fail on the must not haves. So 2 out of 6 is what I would score this as, and that to me would be a fail for a project. Now I know that they're going to continue working on this. I know they're going to continue tweaking it and looking at the numbers and the rest of it, but my point is that this is a live game on a live server. Okay, if you wanted to introduce something to test it, do it in an operation. Do it in an event like Halloween. Don't do it in the main game, which is your bread and butter. That is just stupid. You've taken a game that is already fairly niche anyway. You know, people that like World War II boats. It's fairly niche. There aren't a huge proportion of gamers that will play this game and grind it to the level that you need to progress. They might have a go, and they might go, oh yeah, that's quite pretty. But I'm going back to StarCraft now, I'm going back to MOBA, I'm going back to whatever. So you're already kind of limited your audience. To then take that audience and just go, yeah, well guys, you know that game you really enjoy playing, we're going to completely change it, and we won't make sure that it works before we do that. Now the excuse they've given is that they need to test stuff in the real environment, well, like I say, you should have done that in an operation, or, you know, I mean, if you'd put it into an operation and given people the option of, you know, doing the PTS without actually having to download the PTS, you would have got much more participation. You could do an operation where you set each team a mission. One's invade the base, the other one's defend the base, and you could do it with players on each team. The mechanics are already there, so why on earth put it in the main game? I don't get that. I really don't. So I really hope you continue to work on it. I really hope that you fix it. But I think that you're kind of going to find it difficult if people aren't playing. You're going to be back to square one with the public test numbers, where you've got bots in each game to make up the numbers. Really don't think this was a good choice. I don't think it was a particularly well done project. The implementation has been poor. Just professionally, I look at it and just go, what a shambles. You can do better, Wargame. You really can. You have done better. In the past, you've done so much better. I can only assume that it's somebody new in a job and they made this decision. Yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I've gone on long enough. If you've managed to get to the end of this, then well done. Congratulations. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Yeah, if you disagree with me, that's fine. I don't mind. You know, that's what makes the world go round. I do think there are good things about the change. I think potentially there are some very good things about the change, but they're not there yet. And there's still quite a lot of bad things about the change at the moment. So, yeah. Let me know your thoughts. I'm not going to ask you to leave a like, because this is a pretty depressing video as it is. So, yeah. I get it. Nor will I ask new people to subscribe, because, you know, this isn't really the content I do. This is just something completely different, and just my thoughts. But I think that's quite enough from me for now. So thank you ever so much for watching, guys. But for now, Captain Random, signing off. Take care, and I'll see you again.